Hello, my CNC brothers and sisters. Hey, it's another Wednesday CNC Hangout with Garrett and, the regular crew in the background, which we will bring out in a minute. But it was quite a week last week at the IWF. And I feel like my camera's twisted a little bit. Remember the old Batman shows, like the original ones, when they were in a bad guys hangout and they'd always turn the camera so it looked like your room was, they were fighting in a tilted room. That's what it felt like when I was looking at my screen here. Okay, let's rock and roll with the house rules, and then we'll get down to it. Bring the girls out, say hello. And I just got an alert. Is it possible the stream was ended? Or so looks like getting some kind of alarm. Are you getting that alarm too on that end? Okay. Well, hopefully we're still alive. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So keep it clean, please. We're all a bunch of creators helping each other. Let's keep it that way. And also, if you have any questions, which bring them on, I'll do my best to answer them. Put question marks in the front of your question and then post your question. And then, of course, the house rule that Mark set up is if I ask Julianne or Liberty to do something, then you all have to have a drink. So have your favorite beverage in hand, ready to go. All right. Well, with that being said, we're just going to bring out the girls in the background, say hello, let them say hello. And then we'll talk a little bit about our week at IWF. And yeah, then we'll take the questions, start working it out from there. So there's Liberty and there's Julianne. And so Liberty was left alone last week, and you had quite a few donations to buy your lunch. So how did that go? What did you get for lunch?
So for those of you all, meaning Julianne and Adam, who see me in the office every day, know that I really don't eat. I really don't. So honestly, I had Jay all week, my daughter, and we went to the gas station in the morning, and she got a donut, and I got a snack, and she got her juice, and I got my Mountain Dew, and that was the majority of it. I think we did Burger King one day.
Okay. Well, then that means I just got to take the team out to eat. So we'll just have to do that. But how was it last week running the show all by yourself?
It was a lot. I mean, I feel like I handled it, but it was definitely a lot. We had inventory come in and got it processed, got it put in stock, and orders started flying in from that. And
all right. Well, speaking of inventory, for anyone who is wondering and waiting, the sanding brushes, these things, which literally fly out of here. We just got some back in stock. So if you want them, Julianne will put a link in the comments. That's considered a request, so you have to take a drink. And
uh-oh. Did we just lose him?
I think we did.
Oops. Well, I'm just going to take my drink now here.
Yep.
So Mark was asking how much of the shop was painted purple by the time we got back.
I should have.
None of it, actually.
He picked the right color, though. Go, Mark. Dan was like, alone means unsupervised.
We were doing check-ins, though.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I got this my screen just changed and said something went wrong. So I had to relog back into the StreamYard. So anyway, Mark said, not that button, Garrett. That's what it is. I hit the crash button, the self-destruct button. Okay. Well, so Julianne and Liberty will be in the background, chewing the fat with you, keeping things straight. If you have any questions on things, you're wondering about things, they will go find links for you and get them put in the comments. And of course, things we talk about are also in the description. So when we were down at the IWF, we ran into a lot of people, quite a few of you creators out there. We got to say hello, took lots of pictures with creators, talked to a lot of companies working up some deals for you. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, what Izzy Swan, which he's gonna be a special guest here, and so we're gonna talk to him and his wife Maggie quite a few times, actually. Julianne was down there going, "Where's Izzy? I didn't see Izzy. He was right there."
I saw his wife. I just didn't see him. There's so much stuff to look at down there, like machine-wise and booths and people and swag stuff we brought back for Liberty. It was a lot.
Right. Yeah. And we're going to talk to Kate, see if we can get her back joining in. I asked her a couple weeks ago if she's ready to come back or not. So work on that one. And I think we want to bring Ellen back in too, if she's willing. We'll make a date with Ellen here on the live stream. So okay, well, I got to say hello to a few people, and it looks like something is not streaming here. Facebook.
I already got that fixed. Okay. Yep.
All right.
I already took care of it.
Okay. All right. Well, put your questions in the comments and put a question mark in front of it, and we will rock and roll. I don't have any major announcements other than we've got people have been asking about these, the 1/4 inch shank bits for the 16th and the 1/8. They are now in house, at least some of them. And so we'll be releasing those soon too. Remember, CNC Insiders, if you're not on a CNC Insiders email list, you won't get the new release discount. I haven't even told the list yet. So remind me, Julianne, to send out an email about that. Okay. All right. Here we are. It's August, and man, kids are going back to school already. It's like, seems early. If I remember when I was a kid, we didn't go back to school until September. All right, let's start off with a question. If you're on Facebook, by the way, come over to the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel and join us here, because that's where everybody's chewing the fat. All right. Absolute best custom wood products. All right. Does anyone run the CNC touch plate with Masso? So I don't have the Masso, so I couldn't tell you. And I'm wondering if you are talking about the standard 3-point touch plate, this guy right here, or if you were thinking about the Auto Zero touch plate, which is, I'm going to go grab it. Maybe I'll grab it. I thought I had it right there. There it is. Actually, got to get this thing back out and start using it. The Auto Zero touch plate is this guy right here, and this allows you to touch off on your V-bits, right? And zero with V-bits and ball nose and round bits and all kinds of bits. Very different kind of setup. But this, as far as I know, is only programmed in the G-Sender control software. So you might want to contact CNC Labs and see if there is something for the Masso controller, a macro control of some sort, like a macro program for it. And by the way, G-Sender has an update. So it is version 1.4.9, which you will want to get, and especially if you are considering getting the alt mill CNC router, this new one that they released, which is hopefully my camera won't go blank on me again. That guy right there. I have not done any more to it in a couple of weeks because we were out of town. I am decided to use T-Track on it, and so I'll be probably Friday starting to set that up. I got to get my calendar clear for a day, so we will discuss that tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, Jonathan just got a Shapeoko. Oh, his first machine. Girls, are you ready? Jonathan, you get the happy dance, brother. Brand new creators who just jump in, they get the happy dance from the team. And you know what? Everybody needs to do the happy dance. We got a new CNC brother on board. All right, Jonathan, you have already, I'm sure, experienced some of the communities and like the Facebook communities. Make sure you join CNC Entrepreneurs. Girls, put that link in the description, please, or in the comments. I'm taking my drink. Just ask them to do something. So, Jonathan, yeah, and make sure that you order at least one router bit from us, right? Because Liberty packages some things for first time people. They're very useful things that you will need. Don't have that sticker with me. One is the chucking guide. Right, she's going to write you a little note on the package, and she's going to make sure you got your pack of M&Ms in there. So make sure when that package comes in, if you have a wife or girlfriend or whatever, grandkids, you kind of keep that package to yourself, because grandkids love to steal the packages when they know there's M&Ms in them. So anyway, you got your happy dance, brother, and welcome to the family. I'm so happy. Don't be afraid to ask questions here. As you'll see, if you ask questions, everybody gets involved in answering them. So cool. Love it. Love it having another creator on board. Okay. Les, Garrett, have you decided how I am going to set my spoil board on my alt mill? Yes. So I just said I'm going to go the T-track way. And so I got the T-track there. And so now it's a matter of setting it up. And I will do a video on installing the T-track. I kind of like to do a vacuum table on it. But we've always got the Airweights vacuum system that can come on and off. I got a video on that. Most people already know that, I think. This guy right here, which I really, really like. Oh, speaking of that, we got to talk about the origin, the shaper origin. Julian, I'm going to bring you back out. So does anybody put in the comments if you've heard of the shaper origin? I'm going to bring that up. This thing is so cool. A lot of people have asked me about this darn thing, and what it is, it's basically a handheld router, like a trim router, but it's also like a mini CNC machine, and it will follow a trace. And just, you know, I'm not super fine detailed, so that machine like moves on X and Y to adjust or compensate for the deviations that I do, and it cut a perfect mortise and tenon joint. We're putting together a video now because we sat with Jake, one of their guys, for 45 minutes, did a video, and he walked me through it and what have you. So I am going to show you this shaper origin machine, which is so stinking amazing. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Shaper origin. Okay, there we go. Share. So, man, my screen got it. Let's get rid of that stuff. So the shaper origin is that machine right there. You can see it's a handheld router. But this thing is so freaking cool. I absolutely fell in love with it. We are going to pick one up and play around with it. I will eventually do some videos on this thing too. Yeah, I don't even know the limits or what it's good for and what it's not good for, but I heard flooring guys, it's really good for flooring. It's really good for inlay. They did like a straight inlay. They had some samples of straight inlays, but the thing I liked the most about that was if you have designed in VECTRIC, like you did handwriting, and you told it to do a vector trace, it traced around it, so it was like a closed vector. Well, their software, you can actually, it's an app on the phone. You can buy the app independently, and it will convert it into straight vectors. And I was able to just like, it drew my name, my signature. But anyway, Julianne, what did you think about that thing?
It was pretty cool.
But you were sitting there holding the camera like Adam was too.
Oh yeah. We were filming. But as far as, you know, ease of use and, you know, what you can do with it is pretty interesting. The app that you were talking about is actually in, you know, this range of their trace product, which is you could draw pretty much anything, draw your name, whatever, inside this like little rectangular area, and then scan it and straight to the machine. Like just like that. It was pretty much instantaneous. And then there Garrett is like carving out his, you know, signature in it. And it's like, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was so weird when I was doing my signature. You push a button on the handle and it'll go down, but there's this like this ring, and your thing has to be inside the ring. And if it goes outside that ring, if your vector goes outside the ring, the machine retracts right away. But as I was moving around my name, it was like carving ahead of me. It was so weird. But anyway,
like it's got the intuitiveness to go ahead, and your hands are just pushing the button for it. It's doing the rest of the work.
Yeah. So it's a pricey tool. It's like $2,900, but
pretty small area to use it too. Like they had their little plate you can put and attach to, you know, a small wall and work off of that. But
or you can work on endlessly large projects. They got that tape that has that domino stuff, and when you tell the machine and it reads the tape and it orients itself, its location, it's so hard to explain how well thought out that thing was. It's developed by a couple of guys at MIT apparently. So
yeah, they're on Gen 2 now. I think the ones we played with were the second generation.
So yeah, I can't wait to do some videos with that thing. We'll have to figure that one out. We'll have Liberty do some videos with that one. Liberty's going, oh no, not another machine. She hasn't even gotten through the VECTRIC stuff yet. Liberty, she had her first one-on-one, by the way. It didn't quite work out the way we expected, but Liberty is doing one-on-ones now, and so if you want to do you can work through a project of some sort, and there's your girl. And don't get into 3D carves with her yet. She's still learning, but she's come so far with that VECTRIC software. It's insane. It's super cool. Anyway, if you need some help with VECTRIC, you can schedule with us. You can go to the IDC website too and go to Learning Center. There'll be a one-on-one and schedule up. Look at her. She's going, you're cutting my throat. Throwing you under the
spot. You'll see my face.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's get back to the questions. Anyway, so the question was, so I'm doing the T-track. I debated on it, but I don't want to make a spoil board like I did with here, where I'd have to use probably 400 inserts. So T-track is going to be the way to go. And I'm going to definitely get it set up for the vacuum unit, the air weights vacuum unit. So that vacuum table is phenomenal. Okay. We have Ed, planning on ordering an alt mill soon. Is the backlog getting any better, or are we still looking for January, February for shipping? To the best of my knowledge, it's whatever dates they're providing. So keep in mind the alt mill, it's a new machine, new design. It was just released a couple of months ago, and the first 50 they had gotten in the house, and they sold them immediately. We were one of those immediates, and they had another order, 150 coming, and I think those are shipping now, and now they have to have the other ones made. They really didn't, as someone who, so IDC Woodcraft sells your router bits to you. And when we come out with a new router bit, I like to make sure the demand is there first. So if I'm not sure, I'll get some samples and test them out and let people know, get some interest in it. But usually if there's enough comments to people like these 1/4 inch shank bits that reduce to 1/16 or 1/8, people have asked about this on a regular basis. So we finally got them, and they're going to be getting released soon. So I don't personally, I don't know. I will be talking to them next Monday. By the way, when we were at IWF, I was looking for a little benchtop CNC lathe, and but IWF is more higher levels. It's kind of more geared towards industry, CNC industry, and woodworking industry. I mean, there are some seriously big machines there. Like some companies brought in their entire production line of what a piece of equipment would do, like a skid builder. It would take the raw lumber, the tree. It would saw the tree, cut it into pieces, then position all the boards and nail it all together and kick out skids. That was pretty cool. But anyway, yeah. So Ed, make sure you contact me though when you're getting ready to order. We'll give you a link. That link will enable me to take my girlfriend Sarah out on a little date. Right, I get a little bit of a commission if you use my link. It's an affiliate link. I got quite a few affiliate links. So what those do is that's basically my compensation. If you use that link, it doesn't cost you any different. It just gives me a little bit of commission for if you buy it. But not everything I have is affiliate linked. Right. We have a standard that we go by for companies that we will work with, and we've actually just posted that on the website, who we will partner with. And so there's criteria that they have to meet. They have to have good customer service, good quality products, and and very customer centric. That's the most important to me. Okay. Hopefully they will get those machines in soon. But anyway, yeah, just let us know. We will send you a link for that. But what I will tell you is get the software you're going to use, the design software, and start playing with it. Just practice and set up one-on-one with Liberty. All right. Let her teach you. I can tell you with one-on-ones, when people get into the one-on-ones, they come in with trying to solve a problem. They come out learning about 10 different things. They're usually blown away in that 1 hour of all the different things that they've learned from that. Because we don't do one-on-ones just to solve a problem. We're here to teach. Okay. Doggone Productions, Terry. His name just cracks me up. I just like it. Are there any other Axiom users out there? Axiom users, speak up. So, also, Terry, make sure you are in the Axiom Facebook group, right? That's where you're going to get the majority of the users. Speaking of groups, I was talking to Julianne today and saying I'm going to do a couple of 2 or 3 hour discussions about business, like private. We'll do it in Zoom where people can ask questions, what have you. And so if you're interested in something like that, it would be just a one-time thing. I've talked about doing business mentoring, group business mentoring, but I really want to get a feel for what people are looking for, the challenges that they're having. So that's why I'm going to do something like this first. So yeah, if you're interested, just put yes in the comments. I'm interested. I want to see. So David has an Axiom. So there you go. All right, another question. Albert, anyone know? So when we pop these questions up, and I can look on the screen right here and see the question, but this eye's kind of bugged out right now. So I have to go to the side where the text is bigger. Anyone here know if you have a Z probe on your machine plug-in, can you swap it out for an XYZ touch plate, would that be more of a manufacturer question? So that is your control software. It should be, you want to go to whoever created your control software, look into it first. And if you, I'm not sure which one you have, but your control software is what's going to dictate that. So ask people who, put in the comment what control software you have, and maybe someone who's got that control software. What I mean is the software that's controlling your CNC router. I use G-Sender. Mark Lindsay uses Mach 3. There's UGS. There's Bob CNC, and there's a whole bunch of them. So it's best if they know what you're using. All right, Ed, why aren't the sanding brushes on the IDC app? It's the idea. That's a good question. So Julianne Liberty discussed that with Richard and see if that's something that we can do. So, but to answer that question, the app was originally built to give you the feeds and speeds for the router bits. So for those of you who don't know, IDC Woodcraft is probably the only company that has put out an app for your phone that gives you the data for your CNC router bits. And there will be a link in the comments coming up, and it'll be in the description. So you come into this app. It's free, by the way. It's available for Android and Apple. And let's say we're going to go to 3D carving tools. I select that. I select the specific tool. And oops. So I'm selecting the 3D carving tools. Then I'll select the specific one, which is, that's the fine detail, taper ball nose. Go. And then let's see, you can add this bit to a list. So all the router bits you have, if I hit that add to list button, it'll populate it into a list in here that will list out all the router bits that I have. So you can keep tabs of what bits you have. Now it's just all the IDC bits. People have asked me, well, can you put the Amana bits in there and the light side? I'm a router bit company. That'd be like helping all the competitors. I mean, I don't really care. You can use the same feeds and speeds for their bits, but I would be like killing myself. I populated everybody's bits into these things. Also, you can, if you need to get a bit, you can simply add it to the cart and you can purchase it directly through the app. And then we scroll down and you can set whether you want to be in inches or millimeters. The second thing is whether you're using a trim router or a spindle. So there's multiple trim routers that are put in there. And the reason is because you have different settings for your dials. All right. A number 1 on a Makita router, I think it's 10,000. Number 2 is 13,000. But your Ryobi routers may be different. So you can select the trim router that you have on your CNC router here, and then you can it'll tell you what setting. I'm just going to pick out the Makita trim router, and also you have some material selections here. So, and that it'll compensate based on Jenga scale, and then it'll give you the feeds and speeds for the bit. And if you have a trim router, so for this one it says the router speed dial should be set on 3.5 for this bit. All right, so that's for the Makita, and then down below it's got the specifications for the bit, and it also has a description about the bit itself. So I do recommend you get it. Some people say, why do you have, how could I possibly even use an app for CNC router bits? And then they get it and say, I'm using it all the time now. All right, we just don't know, but it's there. The whole intention is to make things as convenient as possible. You can get the entire IDC Woodcraft feeds and speeds database too, downloaded directly into your software. Right, the VECTRIC, CarveCo, Fusion 360, and CarveCo. It's available on the IDC Woodcraft website. So we'll look into it. I mean, we can add that kind of stuff to the app. It just won't have feeds and speeds. There's no reason why we can't add it to the app. It makes it very simple. I mean, we added the sets, the router bit sets to the app. All right, let me see what kind of comments are going on. Mark said, once you try a spindle, you will never go back to a router. Shh. Sorry, Mark, I got to bring it up because he is so right. So I had the trim router. Wait a minute, I got to go get it. It's right over here. Okay, I had one of these things on my long mill for the longest time. And the trim router, I mean, they're nice to start off with. The reason the companies are using trim routers is because they're inexpensive. All right, they're off the shelf, and if and when, it's more like when it goes bad, because it will go bad on you because they're not designed to run the long term like you need to on a CNC. They make a lot of noise as well. And so there's a spindle right here. They cost a little bit more. If you have an option, when you're buying your CNC router, you have the option to get a spindle. Just don't even waste your time. Just go get the spindle, bite the bullet, and get it. What I have here, if you have a trim router on your machine, on your benchtop, we'll put PWN's link in as well. That's worthy of a drink, by the way, because I'm asking the girls to post a link. We're going to post a link in the comments for a company called PWN CNC. And what they do is they have these spindle kits that basically designed to plug right into your controller. You don't have to do any strange wiring or anything. The reason I got something like that is because I don't want to deal with the technical stuff. I'm buying speed. I'm buying the ability to carve. That's why I got a CNC router, not to try and figure all that kind of stuff out. So that's like the vacuum tables. Somebody, this vacuum table I got on my CNC router, it wasn't available for benchtops until Airweights came up with it. And so if you wanted it for your benchtop CNC router, you had to build it. And my thought is, I don't want to spend a week or 2 weeks building up a vacuum table when I bought a machine to carve, right? It does. I mean, unless we like to do that DIY stuff and we just like to build stuff just for us. I mean, that's cool, but it's just my philosophy. I buy speed. All right. What's going on in the comments here? Okay. Oh, I forgot to drink. Like Mark said, buy once, cry once. I am Mark. By the way, I sent you that list. It was I'm putting together a checklist for brand new CNC machines. When you're putting your machine together, lots of little things to follow to make sure that machine is set up right. It's a pretty detailed list. I mean, you know me, you saw the setup checklist for your CNC projects. I know I got to get to these questions. This guy right here, all right, because when we set our projects up to carve, it's so easy to forget to set your XYZ. If you've forgotten to set your XYZ to do a carve at least once, put "I did it" in the comments. I want to see, because that's covered here, right? Setting your XYZ, start your check, set your start points, your router bit checks, your material checks. This is free. This is free to you. We will link it in the comments. It's going to be in the description. Use it religiously, and you will save yourself lots of mistakes. Huh? Liberty even said she did. Look at this. How many people have done it? Okay, Mark. Okay, got that. I will go back in and look at it. So, yep. Liberty's. Aaron said, or Ernie said he did it. GRB, he did it. We're talking about forgetting to set the XYZ. And what happens when you do that? You break your router bit. Even Liberty. Oh, yep, Terry did it. I saw Liberty in here somewhere. She did it. Liberty, you did it.
Yep. Yeah, I have. And I had to highlight Mark's, though, because you kept looking for my comment. I highlighted Mark's. I'm not admitting to anything.
All right, and yeah, Dan did it. Okay, and Norman did it once, never again. Never say never unless you got a checklist, Norman, because we are imperfect people, except for me. Like when I drive, everybody else doesn't know how to drive. All right. So anyway, yeah, Mark's not admitting to anything. which is a total admission in and of itself. Okay, Jerry, my friend, my brother, is there an update on the muscle chuck? Okay, so Juliana, we put it back in stock? Okay, all right. I am going to tell you what we're going to be doing with the muscle chuck. So for those of you that don't know, why don't you, I'll bring it up. Oh, I can't bring it up. We got it turned off on the website. Okay. The muscle chuck is a quick change tool for your CNC router for the Makita. That's the one that we have. And it's literally super fast, 5-second router bit change. So muscle chuck is made by a different company, and I fell in love with the concept. But we were having some quality issues with them. It was hit or miss, but it was more hit than I was comfortable with, and they would get sent back to us. And when, of course, we were going to replace it, and it was happening a little bit more than I want. So here's what we're going to do, and maybe we'll just do that tonight. I don't know, but what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to bring the girl. Oh, they're saying no. So what we're going to do, we have about 200 of them still in stock. I had it pulled from the site. And so we are going to release what we have. We're going to release it at a 30% discount. It is going to be a closeout. So we will not inventory it after that. We will develop our own style muscle chuck. So I can control that quality better. So what we should do, let's do this, girls. So Jerry can do this now, get them on the list. Like number one is set the inventory to 0. Okay, make it live. I don't know, maybe that won't work, because if 400 people will get on that list, right, we can't serve them all. All right, so all right, we're gonna troubleshoot. This is what goes on in the background. Girls are gonna bring you out. We are gonna talk business, so you can see what happens in the background with IDC Woodcraft when we're dealing with this stuff. Okay, we've been talking about this muscle chuck thing several times. So the thought is, if we set the inventory value to 0, make it live again, so people can hit the let me notify me. We only have a couple hundred. And if we get 300 notifications set up, and then Liberty, you put it in stock, and then there's no specific order on that. It's whoever orders first, right?
It's kind of like you can click the button and say, notify me when this is back in stock. But if
everybody gets the email that clicked on that.
Yeah. If we put it back in stock and you miss the email.
Yeah. So it's first come, first serve. Basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So,
all right.
Unless you email us and you're really, really nice and say, hey, I'll coerce you with lots of M&Ms. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Jerry and anyone else who wants it, here's what you do. Okay. We will still back it up. We will keep 10% of the inventory in case there's a couple of defects. We've had it all checked, but we still had a couple of defects go out. Right. So what we'll do is send an email to Garrett@idcwoodcraft.com. In that email, say, tell Liberty, what should that email say, Liberty, so you can catch that?
Tell me, like, to get the muscle chucks, that you want the muscle chucks, to hold a muscle chuck for you? Are we talking like just for Jerry or everybody?
So send it to Garrett@idcwoodcraft.com, and it says, okay, hey, I'm Jerry. I'm Jerry, and I want the muscle. I absolutely want the muscle chuck when it gets released. Please put me in this special folder.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Right. Just Either attention, like just put like attention liberty. That way I can see it.
There you go. Yep, that's the way to do it. Attention liberty. Okay, cool. There, we solved that problem. So Jerry, you we will get you taken care of, my friend. All right. Cool. What's been going on? What have you guys been talking about? Find order date 1 month, members served first, then the rest come first. The rest first come. Yeah. Ellen, let them do a pre-order. Not in this case. We only have a limited amount of supply, and I mean we can do refunds, but that creates a challenge for Liberty, because then she's got to go back and go refund everybody who didn't pre-order. We are considering pre-order on a couple things that are coming up. We've been talking about that too. Get on the IDC, get on the CNC Insiders list. Okay, I'm talking too much, and let's get got back to the questions. So handled that one. All right, notion of death. Boy, that's a name. All right. Okay. I'm disabled, wood enthusiast. And my question is, how do you keep finding inspiration to create things all the time? Being clinically depressed, just can't get the motivation back to create anything. So I'm hoping, I'm going to go back into the comments and see what people have said. So this is, I'm glad you're here, brother, by the way. And let's take out the notion of death name. That's like drawing down. Let's go live life to the fullest. Change it to that. Okay. I'm all about positive talk. This is one of the things I always talk about in business is in business, if you want to succeed in business, you have to have abundance in your mindset, right? Now, I get it. When you're in a position like this, and first of all, thank you for sharing, for being vulnerable in a group here. I just want to see if there was some comments in that. This guy needs some M&Ms, Liberty. We'll have to send him some Liberty, some M&Ms. Okay. So first of all, it's kind of like we all suffer with this one thing. Okay. And even as a business person or creative space, first of all, I can tell you, because I was very depressed at one time. As a matter of fact, in 2018, I put a pistol to my head, right? I was that far down. And the reason I put that pistol down, I was thinking as I held it there, the thought of my daughter came to me. And from that, I thought, what was the legacy that I would leave her, right? The questions I would leave her for the rest of her life. Why did Dad do that? Why didn't he tell me? All right, that kind of stuff. It's like being screwed over by your parent in the worst possible way, right? But I just swore, I made a decision that I would never be in that position again because of that. I found a reason to go after my happiness. And one of the things I did, and I'll share this with, this is quite personal, quite deep, is I decided to look at my life and say, what are the things in my life that are keeping me down? Who are the people in my life that are keeping me down? What are the memories that I dwell on that are keeping me down, right? Depression, PTSD is being stuck in the past. And it's literally a habit. It's a thought habit. And so even if we declare, if they say we're clinically depressed, we have control over our minds, right? But we have to work to break the habits, the thinking habits, and start catching ourselves. And when you realize, wait a minute, I'm starting to feel that way again. This is just what I did for me, right? When I start feeling that way, I would tell myself, and I'd catch myself, I'd say, wait a minute, I'd get in front of the mirror and say, Garrett, no, you're not going there. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of how I feel. I'm in charge of my happiness. And that MF that's in there saying that I can't, that I'm going to be miserable. Get out of here. All right. And so number one is with our community, you've got a bunch of creators, and the greatest joy I find is in creation, right? The thing to do that I would say is force yourself to start, right? That's just the hardest thing for all of us, is just starting. It's kind of like buying a CNC router, right? We start liking the whole thing, and then but when it comes to like picking the machine and finally hitting that buy button, it's like, oh, come on, we're scared, right? We're afraid to take the leap into something new. So, I mean, I could talk all day on this, but our brother Harold, I'm hoping, is Harold here? Because I'm not watching the. Okay, you'll see yard sale. What's the name of his thing? Liberty.
It's yard sale. It's yard sale
No,
LLC or something like that.
Yeah,
I think.
yard-
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it just has LLC after it.
So he's on the live now. He sent me a text trying to ask a question, but send button isn't working.
I was gonna say I haven't seen him comment.
Okay. All right. So Harold, if you're listening, I'm looking at your text. Anyway, so this is a guy. He won't mind because we did a video together, and he's trying to ask a question, but I'll just tell him, Harold, just text me the question, and I'll answer it. There we go. Now, I don't hand out my number to everybody, because otherwise I'd be called all the time. Anyway, Harold struggled with PTSD for a very long time, right? And he found that CNC was his therapy and started to pull him out of the PTSD. The thing is, you can't give up. You can't give up going after your happiness. At the end of the day, you, my friend, are in charge of your happiness. No one else is. And so when we're not there, we have to be aware of it. They call it unconscious competence. Listen to this. This is so cool. Unconscious competence, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. And what that means in the scheme of what we're talking about here is we do things out of habit. It's like putting on your pants in the morning. You always do the same leg first. You try to do the other leg, you'd fall over, right? Because it's just a habit. It's conscious competence, right? But it's a habit, and if we wanted to change it, we have to become conscious of it, right? So now we can just call it conscious incompetence for putting on the other pants on with the other leg first, and then conscious incompetence, and then we start getting good at it. We call it conscious competence because we're still aware that we're learning it, and then it becomes a habit, and that becomes unconscious competence. So, in the scheme of this, if we are, that almost sounded like I was cutting loose there, wasn't it? Soon I won't be dealing with that. I'm so happy. The noise is going to go away. Anyway, become aware of it and take command, right? And then we have to work it. We have to work it consciously. And that's conscious incompetence, or basically we're conscious that we're not feeling well, and now we're starting to work at it. Then you start to consciously become competent at feeling good, and after a while it just becomes natural, and it becomes unconscious competence. All right, I can keep talking about it. Mark is saying Mach 4, I guess. Mark, I thought you had Mach 3. Julianne Precision Adams. Okay. Again, thank you for sharing that. Also, I will always say, and I always say this, be very careful of your words. Don't declare who we are. If it's almost impossible for me to say this. If my body is bothered by some kind of bug and the temperature is up, it's hard. It's literally hard for me to say I'm sick. I had to force saying that. I don't say that. I just say my body is not agreeing with how I feel about life. All right. So the words that you use, you have to be conscious of that too. I could talk about it all day. Okay. Dan, hey folks, I'm in a bit of a funk and haven't touched my machine in over a month. Does anyone have any suggestions how to get out of my rut? Rekindle my interest. So there's another one, right? Dan's getting I love this. You know what? I am so grateful that people can feel vulnerable enough to share like this here. Right? That makes us super, super special. Sometimes we have to push ourselves. I tell you what, Dan, you know what I like to do when I start getting that, like, feeling like my creative state is going away, I literally make it okay to pull back. Number one, I acknowledge to myself that I am not in a place that I'm in a place that's not very comfortable. Because part of the challenge with that is when we don't feel as good as we want to feel, we resist that. We don't want to acknowledge it. Right. And so that lack of acknowledgement stifles it, turns it inwards and stuffs it, and it kind of festers inside. So just admitting that, right, is probably, it can be a big, big load off your shoulders, right? And watch what happens in a couple of days. But the other thing I do is I will get quiet for a while. I will go, sometimes it's my own spirit telling me, step back, you got to process something, don't really know what it is. We're not really talking CNC here, but this is life, and a lot of people go through this kind of stuff, right? This is life. It's normal. But I'll let myself sit back. I don't have to perform 100% of the time. Life is like this, right? And it's when we recognize that bottom of the trough, when we finally recognize that we're in that, that's when we can take charge of that and say, okay, we're going to change it. Jeff. Hey, Jeff, you know what? I forgot to say hello to some of our brothers and sisters today. Oh, my gosh. Hi, Jeff. So my routine is saying hello to quite a few people, and I forgot to do it today. We've been actually a little bit out of whack this week because there's so much that went on last week. And so it's like catching up. Anyway, any vendor videos from IWF? Well, we got the one from Shaper Origin, and we did one more. Who was that?
Oh, I was like mouthing it to you. I didn't expect to be pulled in. All-Star CNC and Airweights.
Oh yeah, All-Star and Airweights. Yep. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a lot of opportunity to do video there. I thought was worthwhile. So
it was very loud.
it was quite loud. We have to filter out. But first video we're going to get out is the Shaper Origin. Oh, I fell in love with that machine. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. But that's all we're going to have is those two videos from there. It was more of a business-oriented trip for me, making contacts with companies, seeing what we can inventory in IDC Woodcraft, what have you. So we will be at Workbench Con next year. It's a very good thing. We're going to be at the VECTRIC thing in October, Liberty and I, and then we'll probably do something about once every other month. We got to find some of these other shows, and I've kind of decided that we are going to put on one of these CNC get-togethers. So, but there's going to be some work to do with that. All right. Terry Bradley came in. Hello. Tim said, thanks for sharing, Dan. You started a discussion that is on many of our minds. All right. So thanks, Tim. All right. This is the whole thing about CNC and why I think it's such a brilliant thing for us, particularly at our age. We start to come into retirement. And what happens is, we're going towards retirement thinking we're going into this grand vacation, right? This idea, this feeling like, okay, I got the endless vacation. And then we get there and they lied to us. It's not that. Suddenly we don't matter in the world anymore. Our purpose is kind of gone away. And the stuff that we set our identity to, the work we did, suddenly we're out of it. I kind of don't have a desire to go back to it. And we start to realize that our clock is ticking, that we are coming into the final third of our life, and becoming aware of that, and the idea of I've got to leave a legacy. I've got to do something. And also that thing inside of us, that spirit in us, that creative spirit that, throughout your life, you always feel like something's missing. That is the creative spirit. When we don't live within our own world that we were created for, we're living in other people's worlds, the job where we have to punch the 9 to 5. We have those expectations that aren't necessarily aligned with who we truly are deep inside, right? That part starts to scream coming out. And if we don't acknowledge that, that's what led for me to putting the gun in my head, because I didn't understand that that's what was calling me, is to go discover what that was. And it turns out to be teaching, right? Talking about this. And the thing that makes CNC so cool is it doesn't require the skills of a craftsman woodworker. It does challenge you, though. And you can create anything you want, and you can leave a legacy, because you can make the stuff any way you want. I like to make stuff for my grandkids. I like to teach Liberty how to work with the VECTRIC software. I like to teach my team about business. I don't know. Girls, we talk quite a bit. I'm going to bring it back up. Particularly Liberty. I've had lots of talks with her, but I've talked to the whole team many, many times. We just sit down and had little brainstorms, little discussions. What are some of the things that I've brought out of me that I know that I wanted to teach you guys?
A lot of a lot of our business and life philosophy conversations all kind of intertwine. Just because we definitely have a lot of discussions about each the person, the person that we want to, help further in life by teaching them, by giving them a better, outlook on, they've got something to do, they've got something to give the world. A lot of our conversations base around that, and how your view on life changes throughout your life.
What about you, Julianne? I like the little comment there. Julianne said, Liberty is Garrett's new official grandchild.
Well, you said grandchild and then Liberty.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. There's a lot of pauses during the workday where it's just like you get this idea and say, all right, guys, now just stop what you're doing, pull us over to the whiteboard, and just go through either not necessarily business strategy, but just how things progress, how our mindset is, well, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of mindset conversations.
Yes, about getting thinking how the other person thinks, and it's reminiscent to me of business classes.
Yeah.
But your passion is still showing through the technicalities that you're conveying. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's not all business, like Liberty said. We don't talk all business strategy. This is understanding why we're in business, what we're doing. In the global scope of things, when I have these discussions, it's helping the team understand that there's a bigger mission here. It's not we're just selling router bits, right?
It's about people.
Yeah, that's why the team vision, the philosophy, the company vision and philosophy is, it's about the people. Make them feel special, right? Validate them, validate their concerns, celebrate with them, do the dance when they get that machine like we do, right? This is the stuff we discuss. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for sharing, guys. I'm not sure why I started talking about that, but yeah, it's all about learning. It's about the legacy that I'm leaving. We all have something. We all have something to share, and it doesn't matter if you know CNC, or you've been through cancer and you've experienced what it's like and in remission now, but you've dealt with chemo, or you've found out to discover the secret way to tune up your engine that nobody knows about. It's our responsibility to share our knowledge with the rest of the world. And if we aren't doing that, first we have to take care of ourselves. We have to find our own happiness. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to share with the rest of the world. And when you're doing that, you are living bigger than yourself. And that's the whole mission with IDC Woodcraft and what I do, teaching. All right, got way off track. Okay. Boy, am I late. Rich. Hey, Rich from Washington. It's another one of my favorite states. Joe, brother Joe is in here. Joe Lazara. All right. Hey, Joe. All right, Michael, you have a V-Carve Pro. Is it worth going to Aspire? I'll bet you Mark already answered that one, but I will answer it for everybody anyway. So VECTRIC has 3 different variants of their software. They have the Cut 2D, the V-Carve, and they have Aspire. And then with the Cut 2D and Aspire, there's Desktop and there's Pro. So if you have a machine that has a workspace of 24 inches by 24 inches or smaller, then you can go with the desktop versions. They cost less than the Pro versions. The V-Carve Pro, if you're new, Mike, first of all, don't worry about Aspire right now. You can always upgrade to it later. VECTRIC works it in such a way that if you upgrade, you will only pay the difference in the price between V-Carve Pro and Aspire. And here's why I say this, because think of it this way in CNC. There is what we call CAD, C-A-D, which is computer aided designing. That's where you're designing out the cool project, that welcome sign that you're going to give to your daughter. All right, this is welcome home, or it has the house number on it, or something you're going to make for your grandkid. All right, so you're designing that up. Then you go over the CAM side, right? CAM, computer aided manufacturing or computer aided machining. And that's where the tool paths are generated. So that's the 2 aspects to design. Now, with the Aspire version, that's where you start to build up the 2.5D models. Mark, put in the comments. Can you do a full 3D type of thing? I don't know. But it's a different level of learning. All right. So you're learning how to design and you're learning how to set up your tool paths. And then with the Aspire, then you have to learn how to create 3D models or 2.5D models. I want to see what Mark's answer is. If he's still here. Oh boy. Did I ask somebody said drink? Brooke said drink. I don't know what I asked her to do, but I'll drink. Okay. So I would wait on Aspire especially if you're brand new. So, all right. LX Designs at IDC Woodcraft. I just got in chat, and any idea when the Beast bits will be back in stock? Let's bring the girls back on. They are in charge of that stuff. So here we go, girls. What's the story? What's the story on the Beast? Oh.
I think we have them in production right now. So
we do.
I would say 2 weeks. I don't know.
That's a good estimate.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. 2 weeks.
Anytime anyone asks any idea of when they'll be back in stock, that's a mad dash to like jump into that chat with our tooling company. And okay, when did they say it? So my tentative answer would be Liberty. Yes, around 2 weeks is a good time frame. However, once we get them in, they are going quite quickly. So I have upped our usual inventory numbers because our beasts and our hogs have been going out the door once they get in it.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Yeah. They literally sold out within a day or two of me putting them back in.
You
and
posted them on Thursday.
Several hundred in. Yes.
Yeah. So
and
that's how
also
fast they go.
Sent some to Amazon as well, and those are just as quickly popping out.
Yeah, so. We are working to increase that order, our inventory on that, because they are going like hotcakes. And girls, we're coming into the on season, so it's just
we're catching up on production and upping our numbers.
I keep upping the numbers every time I think I have it at a level that's appropriate. Nope.
y'all sell us out again.
Keep it coming. Yep. Keep it coming, though.
Yep.
All right. So there's your answer. Just make sure you hit the red button on the thing. Make sure you put your phone number in if it gives you that option. So what I mean by the red button is, well, let's see how it works. I'll show you. If you want a product from IDC Woodcraft, and it's not in stock, I just want to show you what to do so everybody knows. Okay, so share the website. All right, so let's just go to the, gosh, I don't even know my own website. Come on, Garrett. All right, we'll just, come on, roughing, there we go. Rounding, roughing, there we go. That's embarrassing. All right, we'll go to the beast, which is, oh, there's the Ripper. There's the big bad boy, 1/2 inch. We got a few of those. No, we don't have it. We're getting more in stock, and we are getting a longer flute length. We're also getting 3/8 tooling in the beast thing. We still need to come up with a name for this 3/8 one. So let's go to the beast. Where's the solo beast? Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's, if we're out of stock, says sold out, click that notify me when available. It's going to ask you for your phone number and your email address. Okay. Put in your phone number. That way you will be notified as soon as they get put back in stock. You will be the first to notify. If you have an email address, that's just whenever you look at your email. So that phone number, what it's going to do is send you a text. All right, so then you'll be notified immediately. All right, so where's IDC from Bruce coming off with black hoodie with the IDC logo? It's up to the girls. Okay. Julianne's back there going, what do you think, Liberty? Black hoodie. Oh, God. Here they go, spending my money again. Doggone it. Hey, you know what? I mean, you can always ask these guys. They are good judgments of things that we need. They both can understand me well enough that they've got authority. They got authority to make a lot of decisions. So if they think black hoodie, I don't know. Put in the comments. Should we get a black hoodie? Right? Is it just one off, or should we get like inventory them? If you want one, put it in the comments. Okay. Black hoodie would be kind of cool. All right. Ernie, what was the new G-code version? I think you're talking about G Sender. It is 1.4.9. If you go to the CNC Labs website, Julianne, go ahead and grab that and drink. Find the G Sender webpage and put the reference behind it before you send it out. And she'll send you, she'll put a link in the comments for G Sender. And basically just two things you can do. You can either download the what they have, because they don't leave old versions available directly for you, but you can get the older versions. But that main new version will be that's right on the web page. That's going to be the newest version. But also when you launch GSender, it should say at the bottom of GSender there's a new version available, and you can click the download button. So 1.4.9. There'll be a link in the comments shortly. Tim, first I want to take a look at some of the comments that are going on here. Quick change collet could be called the woodchuck. Why not? We'll come up with a name for that too. Coming up with names is fun. All right. It says he wants one. Winter is coming to Wyoming. You know what the good thing about that is? If you don't like winter, I promise you summer's going to come again. So whenever someone says to me, I hate the cold, I say, don't worry. I promise it's going to warm up. Don't worry. Just wait. There's always an upside. What do you got in the comments? Garrett loved the channel. That came from Christian Cross and Plaque Company. That's a very professional name. I like that, and it's very distinguished, right? It tells people what you do. The beaver or the woodchuck. We're not going to call the ripper type of bit a beaver. Just ain't going to happen. No, these bits are super hyper aggressive bits. So they have to have names like that. We got the badger, the hog, the beast, and the ripper. So the ripper is already taken. Absolute best. Ripper's already taken. That's the half-inch. That's the half-inch version. Wolverine, we actually exercised that name for the badger. I had a problem with it. It was so long. It was 3 syllables. It just didn't roll off the tongue. But, you know, who am I to say? We got a team. We got a crew of CNC creators here who can make decisions and tell people what we want. So, girls, just get a list, and then we'll put out a poll. We'll put out a poll and let the crowd decide. Let our brothers and sisters decide. All right, where are we at? First of all, what time is it? No, 9:12. Wow, time's going by fast. I'm having so much fun. All right, what do we got? I gotta stop and do some calls to action. All right. Oh, Kyle, forgot about Kyle. He got married last week. Kyle from Learn Your CNC got married last week. And so you 2 weeks ago, you guys donated quite a bit of money for that. And so the girls have been put in charge of that. I'm going to tell you a little secret, but I'll let your girls ready to come out? No, they're not like jumping on it.
So sorry, I was looking to see I was flipping back in my notes to see exactly how much was donated.
Oh, anyway, so the girls are in charge of a gift. Ask Kyle. We asked Kyle, and he messaged back, well, he couldn't decide, so just get him a gift card. Not. Sorry, Kyle. So, but we did promise that we would say if you guys got something yet. So have you come up with anything?
Well, we have had some discussions, but we have not set on anything yet. We haven't come back to it since y'all got back in town. So we will be addressing that before the end of the week.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. By the way, give a thumbs up, please, if you're enjoying just hanging out with me and the girls, the team. Haven't done a lot of CNC questions tonight, but there's 14 in the queue questions. So from Tim, are there any next wave users out there? You never hear anything about them. So Tim, go to their website. We talk to them, right? We actually stock one of their products, that little pen writing tool. I'm gonna get it. I think so cool. That one right here. It is so much fun to let this thing write. Now, here's what's kind of cool about this. Link that is from the website in the comments, just so you can see, to get a better view of the picture. But what's cool about this is if you are doing something like puzzles or you're doing pieces that have to fit together, you can actually you stick a pen in here, and then this chucks up like that. It's spring loaded, and you can have it draw out your project first, like your puzzle pieces or whatever's going to fit together, and then you can pre-check everything. I've seen quite a few times people have made puzzle pieces and they didn't fit right, and now they've lost their wood. So it's one thing to check that way. So anyway, as far as Next Wave, yeah, we do talk to them. They actually want us to sell their machines on the site. There's a lot of talk about things like that, right? Do you sell machines on the site? I do want IDC Woodcraft to become more of a flow environment, right? So you get your machine, when you get your machine, you've got all the reference materials that we give out to you, like the chucking guide, the setup sheet. Here I'm building up that new machine setup checklist. And remind me, Julianne, that Mark has made a couple additions to it before we finalize that. That's another drinking request. Okay. I'm going to try it one night. I'm just going to have a 6-pack of beer here and see how many times I can drink. Although you give me 2 and I'm about done. Yep, I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, thinking about lots of different things. Put in the comments too, please, if there's any products that we don't have that you use that you would like to see us carry, like something like Aura Mask. All right, I've thought about that, carrying Aura Mask. All right, woodcutter, you can't get your CNC auto touch plate to work on your Shapeoko Pro. Shapeoko is a 3-wire device. CNC only has 2-wire setup. Not many machine manufacturers will support other people's accessories. Now, that's true. And since I don't, well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because they don't know what the other accessories are. Right? It's like the people will ask me to put Amana's bits in the app, but I don't know their bits. I don't know their tooling. Aside from being my own bit company, right? I don't know their tooling. So why am I going to put it in there unless I go buy all their tools? Then I can put it in there because I gotta run them. I gotta see what they do before I let this stuff get into my world. All right, it's just the way it is. Okay. Woodcutter, you can go check. There's a Facebook group called CNC Troubleshooters, and go in there and ask there, and see if they can help you with that. It sounds like there's going to be some technical stuff you're probably going to have to do. Eric, do you recommend a roughing pass and then a light finish pass for harder plastic? To get it a nice smooth finish, I am using an O-flute bit. So I would say, first you do a trial cut just to see, but I would say yes. If you're not getting a clean cut, then yes. Because all bits have deflection. And specifically, O-flute bits are going to have a unique deflection kind of flavor to it because, number one, it's got such a steep ejection flute, a really deep flute. And so it's like half of a bit, but it's spiraled. And so it's got just weird deflection dynamics in it. And that can cause what may look to be a bit more of chatter. So yeah, I'd recommend it. All right. This is Frank. I want to thank you. Thank me. He purchased his first long mill CNC machine 3030 a couple 3 years ago when you watched my video. Since then, you upgraded to 30 by 48, and then you got the Airweights vacuum table. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad to be a part of your journey. This is what we were just talking about with the girls, right? I am so passionate about the CNC stuff because of how it really creates a purpose in you. It gives you purpose. I'm just looking to see if Harold has sent me any messages. So he didn't. It's inspiring, right? Yeah, it's so cool. I don't know what else to say, right? When you're feeling in a funk, right? Like a couple of guys have brought up, and the interesting thing about that is that's human. We don't feel good about it. It's hard to share that, but when we do, that is the vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is strength. So you get the long mill spindle, ordered it, and let's see, it's not being shipped out. Do you know anything about long mill spindle? You ordered it and it's not being shipped out until August. So if I heard anything about it and how good it is. So I've got the spindle, the long mill spindle on the alt mill. All right. The stretch right there. I have only run a break-in cycle on it. I have not run it yet, but it's solid, right? I don't expect it to not. I can't answer the question because I haven't actually cut with it yet. So it's either later this week or early next week. I will start putting the T-tracks on and then get that thing surfaced. I'll be doing a video on the T-track, and then we will be able to answer that question. Put T-track on a list of possible things to keep in our inventory as well, please. All right. I think we mentioned that, but let's just make sure we get that somewhere. It's a drinking request, so let's have another drink. New elements. I have always done table chamfers with your trim router. Would love to cut one with your CNC. Any suggestions to run that or reasons to not try? Since I haven't done that, I can't say, but I'm assuming that your question is like 45 minutes ago, so I'm hoping that there were some answers on that. You should be able to run table chamfers. The thing with CNC, right, is if you have a table, you have a certain size table, you're going to put it on there and you want this thing to chamfer around the edge. With the CNC, your measurements and your locations have to be dead nuts. All right, you've got to know where you're placing that, where your 0 point is starting at relative to your bit. What I would recommend on that, I don't think there's an issue as long as you know exactly where you're setting things up. What I would look to do, if let's just say you're going to do a 90-degree chamfer on it or 45-degree chamfer, is use a much bigger chamfering tool, and that way you're not both edges of the blades are hanging way outside of the material. But the most critical thing on this is location, knowing the exact size of the material and setting your XYZ properly, and that table's set up square relative to your machine motion. So it takes a lot of setup to make sure you get that one right. So it's going to be tricky, but once you get it set up, right, if you're doing the same shape, you can build up a fixture. You can actually have fixture blocks put on your tabletop, and that once you do it, then each table piece will just basically drop in, do the same thing over and over and over again. I want to take a look at some of the comments. There are like 55 of them since I last looked. Look at your comm side. So there's a little bit of discussion about G-Sender. Woodcutter as the alt mill. Cool. That's so cool. That alt mill is fast. I was kind of blown away with that. When CNC Labs designed it, they focused on acceleration and deceleration because that's what takes all the time, particularly in like 3D carves. So, yeah, if you're wanting a big machine like a 4 foot by 4 foot thing, then you might want to take a look at it because it is price wise, it beats the beats all the competition. The Shapoco 4x4, the Onefinity 4x4. The Millwright 4x4, and it's a pretty solid machine. Okay, did you find the G-Sender to be buggy or stable for you? G-Sender has been stable for me. This is coming from C. Morok. Constantly freezing up for you. Yes, you've reinstalled it. I don't know. I would send a message to CNC Labs. They're the ones that wrote the program. Let's see if they can get the. Mike said he's found a lot of answers in the CNC community resources. Yes, check that out. If you're using G-Sender or the alt mill, the long mill, they've got a community, their own forum, and you can go there. And the Facebook group. All right. And we get another chance to dance. Carrie got up the alt mill a couple weeks back and some router bits from you guys, and just wanted to say I appreciate you guys for what you stand for. Thanks, girls. We're gonna do the happy dance. Someone out there is gonna have to come up with a soundtrack for us when we have this stuff.
Yes.
Oh dear.
I am putting that out there to all you who's hanging out here right now. Whoever can make a soundtrack, put something together, the celebration soundtrack for the new creators. Congratulations, Carrie, for jumping in forward. We've got a ton of videos out here, making more. Follow Mark Lindsay, and I'm sure you already have. We focus on the beginner stuff to really try to help you get into it. I mean, we both have more advanced stuff as well, but a lot of our content is beginner related. So Mark Lindsay, IDC Woodcraft, and make sure if you're using the VECTRIC software to get into Kyle's course. All right, so Kyle Ely, the guy I was talking about before, just got married. He has the only full-blown course out there for the VECTRIC software. Right, starts you right off the beginning and takes you all the way through into the Aspire version of the software. All right, Liberty's been taking it for quite a long time. The mindset, though, the idea that I have around it is we spend a lot of money to get these machines and the equipment, a lot of mental time and energy trying to figure out what machine is the right one for us, learning how to work with bits, and but then we get the software and we try to figure it out ourselves. When the software is your bread and butter of what makes the whole process work, right? It all starts with the design, and if there are basic rules in the design that you have to grasp, and if you miss one of those rules, when you go to move forward, something goes wrong. You don't know what went wrong. So the link has been put in the comments. Go check it out. He's got a free boot camp for it too, right? A free, like a little free mini course, so you can see if it's helpful for you, and then you can make a decision. Oh, Jerry just gave us $20. He said, you and you all, and very much appreciated. Right, very appreciated. So Jerry's saying thank you to all of us. I guess got to bring your girls out because that sounds like it's a comment for all of us there. So, I can't do a heart like Liberty can, but I can.
How do you do that? Is it like with all your fingers?
Oh.
Yeah, I do it with all my fingers. The kids these days do it like, I think like this.
Like that? Mine's
like
crooked.
Your pointy finger. Yeah, it's weird.
I better stop. I might do something that's not Facebook or not, YouTube appropriate.
So in the name of Jerry, we will spend an hour tomorrow morning practicing this.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, question from Marcus. Any future plans for ER11 muscle chucks? So we, like I said before, we are getting out of the muscle chuck brand just because it's been a challenge for us. So IDC Woodcraft will come up with its own design, but it's going to take a little while. But I need an engineer. I need an engineer to do it. I've got too much other stuff to do. These girls are working. They're working hard, and I guess I need to get an engineer to design this up. We'll pay contract.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But it's a high request type of item, and it's a worthwhile item to really get back into and explore. But it was just anyway. I already explained it before. Okay, so Norman, can I say anything about what happened at the IDF show or the IWF show? Well, we purchased some product from people. We did discuss business with people. We did get hold of their marketing teams, their management teams for some, and we're still in the process of doing that. Right, I bought some product because I like the quality. I like the way they work. Right, and so it's that's the way I like to do it. I like to buy. I don't like people to necessarily give it to me because then I got to kind of owe it to them. It's not really good to do it that way. But so I buy it. According to Julianne, because I don't keep it in my head. That's why I have an assistant. Right, she told me when we got back and we finally met, she said, yeah, 16 different companies. I'm like, what? What? So that's the kind of activity that I do. Right? Work with companies to see, but I also assess their products. It's a beautiful time to get hands on the products and see how they work. And so there are some like CNC router brands that about that were at the show that I looked at and I won't consider them. Right? If we put routers on the CNC routers on the IDC Woodcraft store, because they didn't have the builds I like. Here's what we look for. I think I said it before. Customer service is number one. Number two is quality of their equipment. Their attitude is huge for me, and their speediness of taking care of you. Right? Look at their website. There's their phone number on the website. Right? This is why there's a CNC router brand. It's a foreign brand. It's actually probably the most common one out there. There's actually one machine I was thinking of getting when I was first getting the CNC. They didn't have a number on the website. So I emailed them and I asked them, is there somebody I can call to talk to you about your machine? I'm considering buying it. They emailed me back and they said, well, we think we can serve you better through email. So basically they just said, no, we're not going to do that to you or for you. We don't care about you that much. And that's when I just said, okay, you are off my list. And they were the number one choice. All right. So how a company treats you right up front is a representation of how they're going to treat you down the line. That's the other thing about IDC Woodcraft here. The girls can attest to it. Nobody's a number here. None of our customers are numbers. Right? a person on the other side of that order. And it's our job to make sure that order gets taken care of with love, right? All right. How do you pronounce this? Ateni Navarre. Okay, question. How do you feel about using shaft lock collars to ensure that all bits start on the same height when doing bit changes? So it's okay, but you need to have a method. There's two things I want to share with you about this. So first of all, what he's talking about is, I got a router bit here. So most of us would put a router bit in and we kind of randomly put it in. Hopefully you're following the router bit chucking chart that we have at IDC Woodcraft, and put a link for that. If you don't have it, it's a resource that tells you what to do and what not to do when you chuck up your CNC router bit by chucking up, putting it in your collet, tightening your collet. Okay, so most of us just put it in, but there are collars that are available that will actually clamp to it, and you just tighten it down with a screw. It's like a split collar, so the screw tightens down to it, and so you use that as a stop to put into your collet. And the thing with that is you can always have a preset height set for your router bit, so you always know it. You can have a chart saying, okay, this bit is it's reference from the bottom of the collet nut is 1.5 inches. The reason I don't necessarily like, you want to get good quality collets, the sleeves for that. But what I don't like about that is that they do take up some of the important space that you need to be chucking up to. So in chucking up your router bits, there's the rule of thirds, right? And this is in the machining world, and when I worked in metal work. So you take your shank and you divide it by 3. Well, first you right where that flute ends, where that grind ends right there, that's called the flute washout. Right where that ends, you go up about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters, and then you split your visually, mentally split your shank into thirds. And your bit should always, the first third right here should always be at the level of the collet nut at the bottom. All right. Some people like to pull that router bit out to get more length out of it, and they'll go into the second third, and that's what I call the yellow zone. All right. That's when you need to turn the router speed down and the feed down, because what you're doing is you're giving much more opportunity for deflection of the router bit as it's doing its work. And the router bit's designed to do a certain amount of work based on a certain geometry, but you're taking it out of proportion of that geometry when you're starting to when you're starting to pull it out of the collet. What you should never, ever, ever, don't do this. Please don't ever do this. I've seen too many people do it. Don't do this. Don't try to chuck in the top third. That's the red zone. That's the no zone. That's the point. If you need to do that, you get a longer router bit, right? You are asking to break your router bit. It's just, you're just asking to do it, right? This is almost a guarantee that router bit is going to break, or it's going to damage your collet. It's going to, if you didn't tighten it right, it's going to put too much pressure on that bit. And if the bit doesn't break, it's going to pop out of that collet and it's going to damage your collet. I've seen it too many times in the machining world. Please don't do that. And don't drill with a down cutting end mill ever. You'll cause a fire. All right. Let's see. Got some comments. I'm going to take a look at some of the discussion. It's got to be disco thing. What are we talking about? Disco? The chicken dance. We're talking about our new router dance. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what they're talking about, girls? Okay. Chicken dance. My ego is too big to be calling it chicken dance. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not going to be doing this stuff when someone's getting a brand new CNC machine. All right. So we're going to nix that one, Chris. I mean, I love you, brother, but no, not in this world. Okay. We got Chris is let's see. Chris is also saying Liberty had your first one-on-one go. Yeah, she talked about it earlier. No, we'll answer the question. Chris is asking about it. He wants to know. Tell him how your first one-on-one went. We talked about it before, guys, but we'll just kind of bring it back.
It went pretty good. I got a groove of how I kind of want to operate the one-on-ones and getting everything set up, and I do plan to have another one-on-one with him, so we can get into a little bit more detail of what he needs, and go from there. But I feel like for our first one, it went well.
Okay. All right. So Brian, we are going to talk to Brian for a second. So Brian said a comment. He said, just so you know, he's tried to call us, left, never got a response back. So these guys do respond to the phone calls, right? So they take care of it. Sometimes it might take a day for them to get back because it's just them. So be on the lookout for Brian, girls, and take care of them. All right. I do apologize, Brian. So just to tell you how sometimes things work on this end, there's a lot that goes on the business end of things. And I really want everybody to be satisfied with what we do, right? I take it very seriously. This is a business for other people. It's for you as a creator to help you. And, but we're people too. And so we do make mistakes. Sometimes we miss things. We all do it. We have regular discussions when we find things like that is how can we handle it? How do we make sure that this problem doesn't happen again? So it's always proactive, but things just get through the cracks once in a while. So apologize, but apologize for missing. The girls will be on the lookout for you because they're the ones that are manning the phones. And okay, where are we at? You guys are now talking about the space station. What the hell is going on in this group? Good Lord. Okay, let's just get back to questions. So I handled the shaft lock collars. Ron, any thoughts about on the cause of using VCarve Pro create words inside a circle, but they carve in an oval? Look around in the tool path, and it looks round in G center, carves out oval. Your stepping ratio is probably off in your control. Now, what that means is, so the motors that make your machine move around are stepper motors, and the control. So it's the stepper motor has a stator and it's got an armature. So the stator is the outside magnet, right? The windings, the thing where the power is going to. The armature is a series of magnets that are built around the armature. And so the coils that's going around the stator, the charge will change. It'll change. Hit these two coils on the opposite side, then this one, and what it's doing is pulling the magnets. And so there's a ratio that needs to be set up in the control software, and what is probably happening, the control software has the ratio set into it, and what the numbers are probably not right for one stepper motor relative to the other one. So instead of cutting a circle, it's cutting an oval because one motor is not moving as fast as it needs to, or the other motor is moving too fast relative to their relationship, their motion relationships that they have with each other. Hope that made sense. Did that make sense, girls? Kind of. They're still looking at me like deer in headlights. So go to the company that made your machine, call them up and tell them that's what's happening, that you believe your step ratios are out from one axis relative to the other axis. I can't really dive into it here because I don't know what control software you're using or what machine you have, and don't really have time to get into that anyway. All right. LTX Designs, IDC Woodcraft, will you be at the Texas Woodworking Festival in November? I don't know. The girls will put it on a list and they'll look at it and they'll talk to me about it, and we'll see. But probably not, because we traveled this month. I'm traveling next month to Vancouver, and then the following month, Liberty and I are traveling down to Texas. And the last thing I want to do is go back to Texas again. No, I don't know. We'll take a look. They'll look into it and see. By the way, give us a list of all the shows, all the things that go on, so we know. All right, and we'll start looking, see what we can join in on. I always like connecting with you guys. Okay, from Chris Gallagher, good day from Perth down under. Our guy from Australia could disappear at any time. Got sparks coming to run power to new workshed. Ooh, new workshed. That's kind of worth a little happy dance. Worksheds are always awesome. Oh, the girl's kind of bopping around. So workshed. And so I'm assuming that workshed is going to have a CNC machine in it by the time it's done. All right, the rat's nest. Any plans to make a smaller keyhole cutter? I haven't had a lot of requests for that. So what size are you thinking? Put in the comments. Let me know. I am going to be coming out with, I put it on my list to talk tomorrow, but we need a 3/8 roundover bit, 3/8 radius. And I do want to get to a 1/2-inch radius as well, but I got to discuss that. And let's let that come. Let's see what you guys are doing. Talking about, I guess, going to handle a couple more questions if you can find them. But let's see what's going on in the comments here. And Jane just got it. Just read your email. Thanks for whatever it was. Okay, question. What if your router bits had a printed lasered ring on the shaft that identified the recommended third installation depth? Maybe that would be too much cost. It's a thought. It's a thought. It's kind of it's not really the cost as it is the technical aspect of getting it to happen. It's in the back of my mind. I just got it in the back of my mind. It won't happen soon, but it's a very good suggestion. So thank you for putting that in there. Got 3 more started questions. Okay, from Teresa. Hello, Teresa. When using the 1.5-inch surfacing bit, Onefinity Woodworker Pro 32 by 32, nice machine. I cannot get the big off the side of the spoil board. Is 3 inches enough distance to start the cut? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So what Teresa's saying is, which is a typical thing when you make your spoil board. Generally, your spoil board is basically the size of the physical limits of the run of the machine. And so what she's trying to figure out what she needs to do in order to get started, because you can't plunge with a surfacing bit. You have to come in on a ramp. So Teresa, yes. So I'm assuming what you're saying there is 3 inches enough of a ramp distance. So I would tend to go 5 times ramp. The thing, so if you're taking a really shallow cut, then you can go with maybe 4 times. I wouldn't go 3 inches, because that's the diameter of the bit times 2, right? And that may not be enough opportunity for that. It may be too steep, and you'll hit the middle of the bit. on the spoil board. So I would go 4 or 5 inch ramp. Remember to set your ramp speed to the feed speed. So if you should be running that at probably 120 inches per minute if you're doing a thin cut, and just set your plunge speed to the ramp speed, because when you set your ramp speed to the plunge speed, right? Because it's ramping in like that, and you don't want it ramping it really slow. It's the default settings are like 7 inches per minute for ramping for the plunge, and then 120 inches per minute for the run. So that 7 inches is moving so slow, and that it's going to rub a lot, and it's going to heat up the bit. So please, 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 when you do that ramp, make sure you set the ramp feed rate to the cutting feed rate, or the plunge. The ramp will be the plunge feed rate. So you want to change that to the normal cutting feed rate. It's a good question. Glad you got it in there, girls. Important question. Thoughts on the Universal G-Code Sender program? Those are my thoughts. I started off with the UGS, and UGS is like the Model T of control software. Put it that way. It was built in like Windows 98, and it's still working on that type of platform. So if you're using Universal G-Code Sender, that will work with the Gerbil machines. So go to get G-Sender. Get G-Sender from the CNC Labs website. Put that link in again. And it's free. And let me show you. I'm just going to launch the darn thing. I can't actually. I'm not plugged in to my machine, so it won't actually launch, but I can show you what it looks like. Maybe I can't. Where is it? Let's just share my entire screen. Okay. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So that's G-Sender. It's a super clean layout. I found Universal G-Code to be clunky. Repositioning the windows was a total pain in my rear end. And yeah, I'm going to say get this one instead. It'll work with your machine if Universal G-Code Sender will work with your machine. There'll be a link in the comments. Go there now and go get that thing. All right, let's stop sharing. You know my thoughts. I think I told you enough. Don't get it. It's painful. It's a painful software. All right. From Jane 85. Hello, Jane. I don't remember this name. Thinking about buying a Phantom CNC. What are my thoughts after a year or so of ownership? Okay, so I've had the Phantom CNC router for about a year and a half. I did sell it. Okay, I will tell you my thoughts. But the reason I sold it is because the Phantom is a production machine. It's the controls. The control is built for repetition. It's not necessarily built with an interface where you can actually, like what I just showed you with the G-Sender. You create your design, you create your G-code, you put it on a flash drive, you plug it into the pendant, and you onboard it on the pendant. And I've got videos about it. And then you tell the machine to go. I will say it's a rugged machine. It runs fast. It runs true. It's a rack and pinion drive machine. And what that means, rack and pinion is a very robust type of gearing drive system. It does have, rack and pinion has one flaw that I found out is that it's easier to override or what would I say? When you have a ball screw, it's very hard for the gantry or the Z-axis to get out of position or lose its position. Whereas if you have a rack and pinion, then if you can overpower the drive motors, then it can overpower that way. So, but overall, I think the Phantom, it's a heavy, solid, rock solid machine. And it did its job. It did its job, and they price. They don't like double their price, right? They work up a percentage. It did go down, and I talked to Steve. I talked to him over the weekend at the IWF too, right? So, and they're always coming out with new machines. So I do give it a thumbs up for sure. But it's a production machine, right? If you want to have visual interface with your machine, then you may need to talk to them more about that. Okay, I just wanted to take a look there. We're coming close to the end of the night. We got 2 questions here. So, Ronnie, Garrett, would I ever think of coming to do a wood show in Canada? So we are. I mentioned it yesterday. We're going to start to put something together. Canada. Maybe we can just have the girls pick some place they like near the border. Niagara Falls, right? Who knows? So I don't know. I haven't actually thought about Canada. There is logistics challenges when it comes to crossing the border, though, just so you're aware. And we're not quite at that stage yet, so it won't happen anytime soon. And last question, this is on Facebook. So Seth and Jen Reimer. I don't comment, but I love watching your videos. You, sir, are what makes me believe in humanity. Thank you for all your endure and all you do for the weekend warrior. That's so cool. Girls, I'm gonna bring you back out. That's so cool. You are absolutely welcome. And that's, yeah. I'm kind of speechless to that comment.
I know. I don't really know. Like, that was like really adorable and so sweet.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. It took a lot of getting to know thyself. Right, the people that term "to know thyself," you all heard it. I think it was Mark Twain or somebody, Socrates, who knows, right? But to know thyself, what that means is a lot of inner exploration. And once you get inside and start to see your own spirit, it's hard. You can't go back, and you start to realize that everybody has the same spirit, and everybody has feelings. Everybody needs to be loved. Everybody needs a goal. Everybody needs passion. Come to Hawaii and do a workshop. Okay.
Didn't have to ask him twice.
Yeah. What part of Hawaii? What island? My brother lives on a big island. I've been debating going there the end of this year. Me and Sarah. And pick someplace warm, Albert says. Hawaii's good.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with Albert.
Well, Canada is actually, it's not cold up there in the summertime, but
I was
in the
going to say,
wintertime,
as long as it's in the summertime.
yeah. Well, Vancouver is, it never like freezes there. Vancouver's right on the Pacific coast. But you get in, there's a couple other entrepreneurs that I deal with in my entrepreneur groups, and they live in other parts of Canada. They're showing me pictures in the wintertime. They got 10-foot snowfalls on the side of the street. They dig themselves out of their houses and stuff.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Mark says he lived in Hawaii for 4 years. Bring sunscreen. Yeah, for sure. North Dakota. I would go to Badlands. Do it right in the middle of Badlands. We can make all the noise we want. If anybody's ever been to the Badlands, it's so isolated.
I think Chris is trying to test my limits here. Because let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put my logistics to the test.
Oh
boy.
Yeah. Okay, Brooks straightened me out instead of Socrates. To know thyself. It's such a big deal. There aren't many of us in North Dakota. 701 Woodcraft, North Dakota. All right, there's not many in North Dakota. North Dakota's got like the population of Madison.
What these people don't realize is they're suggesting these places we come visit, but that means we all have to come stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
We could just set up in their shop.
Yeah, and we would start at Mark Lindsay's place when he's cooking on a grill. By the way.
Yes.
Him and his ditching out so he can cook dinner and telling us all about it.
Always tempting.
All right. Well, brothers and sisters, it's been a fun evening. I hope you all enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, and hope I answered some questions. Go live life to the fullest. If you're struggling and you're not sure, feeling stuck is it's a mindset. It just means get out of your own way, go somewhere else, think for a while, play, let your mind wander. All right. Be like a child again.
You never know what the wonders of silly putty will do for you. I keep it in my desk drawer.
Well, maybe this is where we got to come up with the squishy beast.
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you get, Liberty, for that we gave you from the squishy?
I got an ass.
Oh yeah, big ass fans. They had a big ass. They had a squishy ass.
Yep.
It's a little one though.
Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to bid you adieu. Thank you for hanging with us, and we will see you next week. We're working to get Izzy on. I want to get PWN back on. We want to get Carvco in. We want to get.
How many drinks do we need to take with all this list? Is it one for each?
Right.
Oh.
I'm writing them down as we speak.
Just hang on.
Right. Let's see. Word you want to see the world through new eyes. Hang out with the kids. Absolutely. I love hanging out with kids. I'll tell you one quick story before we sign out. So I've got a Jeep, and in the summertime I take the top off, although right now it's on. Take the doors and top off. I'll go get the grandkids. They live an hour and a half away, and we'll drive down here. We'll drive down 56, and I give them my sunglasses, and they stand up on the seat, and they just let the wind come through their hair. And then down here in Madison, I was doing it down the riverfront, just doing 10 miles an hour, and I got pulled over. And sour pusses, come on. There's kids hanging all over those golf carts, no seat belts. And my kids are wrapped around with roll bars and crap like that. So yeah. Anyway, didn't stop me, just in Madison. All right, brothers and sisters, we are checking out. You have yourself an awesome evening. We will see you next week.